Good morning, good evening, well, really good morning, Bios Cosmos Church. We have not opened our doors yet. Still night. I come to you to bring you a special report. This will replace one of our classes that we are having today due to the simple fact that it's just too important. We don't want it being missed out. The courts of Nazareth at Bios Cosmos Church. Where was I? Yes, the courts of Nazareth at Bios Cosmos Church, which is in charge of the resettlement project for Bios Cosmos Church, has issued a ruling this morning. See, what happened is I just came out of 4:30 court, and that's how I got this ruling so early. So this ruling is going to decide where should our newest church, our state church and our federal church, be planted. Bios Cosmos Church intends to plant a church in the area where social justice is not recognized, where human rights are being violated, but also wants to plant the church in a basically safe location. It will take many years to come to a final decision, so multiple churches, small churches, will be planted. And whichever one functions best, BIOS will use that as a permanent facility, as outlined by Part 2 of the Resettlement Act. Now, Part 3 states that this church is to be recognized by God and God alone. So therefore, this eliminates competition for human recognition. So therefore, we are definitely not going to put in the extra effort for people to recognize us. We're just going to do what God Himself wants us to do, and then people will flow into the church that way, instead of people being told to come in because it's labeled as a church building. You see, our goal is to plant a physical, actual church, which is a group of people in a community, not a building. We do want a building, but furthermore, we want a church. And then we want a place for the church to meet. So this act, Resettlement Act, will seal off the end of the NAQUO Acts. Be specifically designed to give the new church world order and the new world BIOS the order that is intended to have. BIOS Cosmos Church will expand, grow, add, and multiply under the will of the Father for all eternity long. So I know you've been on the edge of your seats to see if you will receive a church or not, but here's a list of prospective nations that are eligible for a state location at BIOS. Now remember, locations will not be planted next year. We will scout next year and implant locations in 2021. The United Kingdom is number one on our list. City, London, or Wales. Churches will be, I forgot to also mention, churches will be planted in major cities as to reach large amounts of people as possible. This is a state church, so therefore the position this church will have is to help grow smaller churches in rural areas. The federal church will be planted in London, England, eventually. But like I said, nothing is permanent as of yet. It may be 2030 until we are able to plant a permanent federal church. The second location is Myanmar or Burma. This will be the state church for the continent of Asia. The third location will be this will be the state church for the continent of Africa. The fourth state church possible location will be in Chile. This will be the state church location for South and Latin America. And the final possible last state church location will be in Atlanta, Georgia. This will be the state church for the entire continent of the United States and Canada. These four places are eligible for churches. Now, that fifth one, they only made it in by a landslide. But remember, all bios has the same rules, regulations, and policies. So no matter which church you go to, you'll hear the same messages, you'll hear the same sermon, and you'll have the same pastor. So no matter what, same sermon, same messages, same pastors. It's just going to be in a different building on the opposite side of the world. So you'll always have the exact same people working for you to serve you. Now, if your nation or city was not on this list, do not feel bad because you might be eligible for a local church when many years down the road, these state churches actually start planting. Now, here's the deal. We will have jurisdictions because I can't be everywhere all at once. This has been planning for greater than 5 years, so we know exactly what's going on. I'm not planning before your eyes. I'm telling you what the courts of Nazareth has been mentioning for 5 years. These jurisdictions will help better to serve your communities. The purpose of these jurisdictions, which are the entire continents, are designed to assess the need of local communities. Oh, excuse me, that's county churches. These will be started by state churches. These will be to assess the need of communities. These are like franchises. And then which will be started by private people now and not the greater church itself, which is the federal church. That's going to be where they're run independently. Now let's move on to part B. Part B, part one of this act, staffing. So we're going to forget all the other lists and all the other stuff for about 20 years. We just have it in place. Should anything happen to the church that's bad, we still know how to persist. This video is here for years. Part B says we need staffing. I'll talk to you more about staffing for the new churches in the next video. Let's talk about teachers. As you know, all you have to do is call the church and you can teach church from your own home over the phone. It's that easy nowadays. We will still have, each church will have their own YouTube channel. Each state church will have their own website. So, a system that is coming up in 2019. But first and foremost, scouting for locations will happen in the country of the United Kingdom and Scotland. So that area will be the first to receive the first Kosmos church. Once that's planted, then you as a private individual watching this video, if you call you to be a pastor, sign up and you too will be given a church. or you could come preach for the federal parish, doesn't matter. But either way, God has made many prophecies for Bios Cosmos Church in 2019. Now we're probably going to talk about funding a lot too. How are we getting funding to do this when no one's putting money in the tithe and offering basket? Well, that's what scouting is about. We are going to scout for funding starting next year. If you do good with absolutely nothing, then God will give you something. If you do good with something, then God will give you many. So these churches will be grown. We're not going to be building a building yet. It's not about the building. We could have churches all over the place where we're meeting in under bridges, we're meeting in houses, we're meeting in fields. So we may never actually spend money on buildings. By churches, I do mean organized leadership of Christians. So the building isn't top priority. The federal parish needs a building, but all the other churches just needs people. And we need more pastors. If you feel that God has called you to be a pastor and you could run a church without any resources at all, like what we're kind of doing, then go for it. Come here and try. Well, do it because it's very easy. Just listen to what God is saying. It's easy when you listen and pay attention. It's hard when you want to do your own thing. So everybody's thinking that we're rich and have thousands and billions of dollars. We actually don't have any dollars. But what we do have is the love of God. And what we do utilize is entire cities as our congregation. So therefore, without the constrictive space of a building, we can just have as large meetings as we want. And if God wills us, then we'll get a building. So don't think we're going to be building a church in your neighborhood just yet. We're just going to meet up. That's all we're doing. We're meeting up. This whole plan is for me to be able to meet with you in person. Right now, I can only do it over the internet. But one day, we're going to do it in person. So if your name is on the list, I will see you next year. You could come and find me. I'll tell you where I am. You could come and find me, and you could come and fellowship with the Lord Jesus with me. But as of right now, we have to work on funding for missionary work and educational materials. This is set up. We have so many things set up as in order to set up plenty of funding that light right in here. We have plenty of things set up as in order to have everything going good for us by the end of this year. So have a good day and may God bless you.